And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Looking at today's hazardous weather graphic, red shaded areas here signifying winter storm and blizzard warnings that are still out for the Yukon Delta, lower Yukon River Valley area, St. Lawrence Island, Seward Peninsula here, the northwest coast, Kivalina, Point Hope, Point Lay, actually, western Arctic coast there, Point Lay, and then for like the Noatak Valley, Kotzebue, and the eastern Norton Sound area here, Unalakleet. Wind advisories there for those gusty winds, 40 to 60 miles an hour. Earlier today, Kotzebue had a peak wind gust of 67 miles per hour. Otherwise, here in the interior, kind of a smattering of winter weather advisories due to snow, wind, and blowing snow. And from there, looking at the satellite, kind of contrasting conditions here from east to west. White areas here in the east due to the cold surface temperatures remaining well below zero throughout the day today. Even colder into the Northwest Territories of Canada. And then, of course, the white here, that's the clouds with several waves moving northward here. Another one crossing the Alaska Peninsula today, and front bringing wind and rain into the Kodiak Island area, and snow and rain into the southwest interior. Snow and blowing snow, Nunivak Island northward, especially St. Lawrence Island. Nome picked up anywhere from 4 to 8 inches of snow. Today with strong winds there and through the Bering Strait, and mostly just wind up here around Kotzebue with the moisture staying to the south there. And a lot of shower activity out here over the Aleutians. And for the southeast coast, clear, cold, and windy temperatures there. And looking at this again, this front really can't, just came to a halt here as it hit that dome of cold air that's pouring southwestward, especially at the surface here, out of the southeast coastal areas there. On the chart, strong gradient, tight gradient here across the southeast coast with strong high pressure there over northwest Canada. So gusty winds across the entire area out of the east and northeast there with temperatures, some cases staying in the teens today and 20s elsewhere. And tight gradient and gusty winds, but other areas not seeing any wind, and those stayed the coldest this afternoon here, with most of clearing up over the northeast part of the state. And southeast flow starting to bring some clouds and a little bit of moisture into the North Gulf Coast here, and also Prince William Sound, but pretty light snowfall amounts with that along the south coast of the Kenai Peninsula. Heavier wind and rain across the Kodiak Island area, Alaska Peninsula, and northwestward here, you're seeing snow and blowing snow in the turquoise shaded area here over the Yukon Delta northward there to the western Arctic coast, and rain over Bristol Bay, rain for the Alaska Peninsula changing to showers, then a break here over the eastern Aleutians. Next system tracking eastward there, bringing a little bit of wind and rain and snow with that as it tracks eastward. Not nearly as strong as the system here affecting the western part of the state. For tonight, that kind of tracks northeastward there, moves north of the Aleutian chain with a warm front spreading more rain into the eastern Aleutians, Alaska Peninsula, with this front stalling out around Kodiak Island there. So periods of rain continue there. Snow and blowing snow from the Noatak Valley southward into the Yukon River area. Conditions improving behind that front. Winds much lighter now along the southwest coast, St. Lawrence Island area, and still dry and cold and occasionally windy, especially for the higher elevations of the interior here. No change for the Panhandle. Cold temperatures with gusty northeast winds and mostly clear skies. And for tomorrow, we'll start to see the clouds increase here over the northern southeast coast with a chance of some light snow there, possibly around Elfin Cove. Otherwise, winds will be lighter and temperatures remain cold, however, with better chance of some light snow along the North Gulf Coast, Prince William Sound in toward Portage and maybe Whittier, or Whittier, maybe Portage, down across the south coast of the Kenai Peninsula. Rain or snow pushing into southern Cook Inlet, and some light rain with this warm front into Kodiak Island, but a much better day tomorrow than today as far as wind and rain go. But another round of heavy wind and rain coming into the Alaska Peninsula as this low tracks northward tomorrow. Could see another half-inch to inch-and-a-half of rain with this system again across the Alaska Peninsula with strong winds once the low center pulls more northward into the western Alaska Peninsula, particularly Cold Bay. Still windy with areas of snow here over the western part of the state, but weakening system there. It'll be much lighter than what we saw today from the Seward Peninsula areas, much lighter winds even up over the northwest part of the state. Cold temperatures continue for the eastern Arctic coast, north slope down into the Yukon Flats area, and strong north winds with snow showers for the central Aleutians. That low center tracks northeastward here. Actually, yes, this one tracks northeastward, while the former one just troughs out in about this position here. Front roughly in this position, but as you can see, cold air coming back down, snow blowing snow into the eastern Aleutians, snow showers, numerous snow showers for the Pribilof Islands, gusty winds with snow for the Alaska Peninsula, rain and snow into Bristol Bay, mostly just rain showers for Kodiak Island, possibly mixing with snow late in the day there, but don't look for any significant accumulation with basically southerly flow. And the North Gulf Coast, as that front moves in, Kenai Peninsula looking at a chance of snow, and North Gulf Coast chance of rain and snow. Now some snow chances up into the eastern central Copper River Basin, maybe crossing the eastern Alaska Range there and getting just to the north, possibly in toward Delta Junction eastward, but not really, that's not the gradient to support much in the way of precipitation north of the Alaska Range, and increasing moisture there for the southeast coast. And for the lows tonight, 0 to 5 below northern Panhandle, otherwise single numbers and teens elsewhere. Lows in the mid-30s by contrast here over Bristol Bay, Kodiak Island area, and anywhere from 25 to 45 below there for the eastern interior, and -5 to -15 in the central part of the state, 30 to 35 out toward the Bering Sea there, and lower 30s for the Alaska Peninsula, eastern Aleutians, and also the central Aleutians. Highs tomorrow stays cold here over the Panhandle, 10 to 15, or mostly in the teens, 10 to 20 call it, especially down south, more of the 10 to 15 range up to the north, 20s to near 30 for south central Alaska, 0 to 5 for the Copper River Basin, well below 0 over the eastern interior again, to 5 say in the central part of the state, and upper 20s to lower 30s for the Seward Peninsula, although Shishmaref may hit 35, but Kotzebue staying at around 22. And most of the Arctic coast pushing above 0 tomorrow. And for the lows the following morning, 15 to 35 below for the eastern interior, back below 0 for the Copper River Basin again, and 10 to 15 for the Susitna Valley, 20 for the Kenai Peninsula, except lower 30s down toward Homer, and lows again near 0 over the northern Panhandle, otherwise 5 to 10 elsewhere, mid-30s for Kodiak Island, lower 30s for the Alaska Peninsula, upper 20s for Adak and Atka, mid-20s for the Pribilof Islands. That'll be followed by highs of about freezing for the Pribilofs and mid-30s or lower to mid-30s for the Aleutians. 41 King Salmon, 40 Kodiak, otherwise in the 20s here for south central Alaska. Staying below 0 for the central interior eastward there to the border, north of the Alaska Range. Arctic coast, so edging up above 0, and teens to mid-20s for the southeast coast.